What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and every month I like to do a little updated video on how I go about making silver every day. And whether you're a beginner or you're an endgame player, maybe you can learn some tips as well. And eventually you could probably make, if not more than I do. But here are some things that you could do daily, and I'll also give some tips for things I do like weekly as well. So first of all, if you have seen my other videos, a lot of these are going to be the same, but I do make some updates every now and then to try to profit a little bit more. So yeah, I think on average I make around 3 billion a day. That's just like, maybe a lot of it is grinding, but here are some minimal effort tips that I can give all of you. So first of all, whether you're a beginner or not, I would recommend doing Imperial delivery. Now, I know prices are a little bit different, so what I wanted to do today, usually I make the boxes myself. So usually I, gather and then cook everything myself. It's a little bit more profit, but I wanted to show you what it's all about, and I wanted to actually do this. So I bought some Valencia meals. I actually do make Valencia meals myself, but I bought them today just to show you how much profit you can make. And then you subtract tax, and then well, there's no tax on Imperial delivery, but you subtract the cost it used to make it. So essentially, we spent 116-ish mil. So 116 mil to make the boxes. And the way it works is you get to have a different number of daily quantity for delivery every day, and this number is calculated by your contribution points divided by 2. So I would recommend all of you guys doing this if you are master or guru. I think you do profit off of the other ones, but it's not as much. So getting masters to guru is very easy, and I'll tell you how to do it. So first of all, we talked about how we made we spent about 116 mil, and we have 22 mil in the bank. All right, so we made around 250 mil after that, and then we subtract 116-ish. I think that's what it costs to make it. So that was about 140 mil profit, just like easy. To make it, it's very easy. And it's actually, you just go to the storage and then process them from there. So if you're wondering how to get more contribution, if you want to do this daily, what you would do, or this is what I did. So you know how I had those videos talking about my node setup and everything, right? So one thing you guys can do is get the chicken meat, and I guess there's a lot of other things you can make, like for example, like wheats and stuff. So what I did was I just cooked a lot of grilled bird meat. You turn the raw chicken meat into grilled bird meat, and then you get the meat on the side, which is always good. You feed your workers with it. But what you're really going for is the witch's delicacy. And then you turn these in any city, and then you get contribution XP. And so more contribution obviously means more profit, right? So eventually through time, if you just keep doing this daily, or you're just playing the game over the years, you'll get more contribution, and then you get more profit off of this daily. So that's one thing I would recommend doing, whether you're a beginner or not. Try to do Imperial delivery. Another question I've also been getting is Imperial delivery for alchemy versus cooking better? Cooking is just straight up better and more profitable. Like it's not even close. So yeah, there's that. So the way it works in terms of profit as well is cooking mastery from turn-ins is what's affected, and you get more. So I actually would have had more, but I decided I wanted to go enhance, and I thought I was going to pen swing it. I tried. It obviously failed. Then we have to get it back to Tet, and then we're at Pry again. It's very standard. So anyway, things you could do to boost your mastery and get more is, of course, if you have the Khan's Heart, you just add that to your life thingy. It's actually went down in price. Then you can get the artifacts and light stones, which is kind of expensive. I'm not sure if I would really recommend buying the light stones for profit, just because it's going to take a while to make all your silver back. but eventually, I mean, through time, you will. And then one thing I actually did is in my crystals, we have a cooking setup, and all of these are just straight up cooking mastery. These are kind of like 500 mil each, so if you're like a fresh new character and you're just looking to make cooking mastery, this is not something I would recommend for like new players. It is, you get more daily, but you're investing probably around like 6 to 7 billion into it. So if you don't have it, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Things I would recommend for beginners though is probably just like any monos you can get. It doesn't matter if it's like Tet or Pry, as long as your mastery is going up, that's good. Obviously a Tet cook close is probably a huge jump, and then everything else. So I know that was long-winded, but those are some tips I can give you for Imperial delivery. The next thing I do on a daily is I do Pit of the Undying. So if you don't know how to do it, you basically open up your menu, type Pit of the Undying, and then this thing should pop up, right? And then what it does is, I'm not sure if you have to do a quest at Akila's Eye first to unlock it, but I think if you just search for it, and then it'll just give you a pop-up, and then you go in there, and it's basically fighting like 4 different bosses. And the way it works is, you see this thing, the Undying Crow's Insignia. So it gives you some XP bonuses when you have it equipped, which is nice, but it's not really a big deal. But when you have that, you start at Pry, and then you do this multiple times, and then eventually, like once you get enough of the currency or whatever they have, you could take the promotion test for Duo, and then you fight different bosses, and then you go all the way to Try, Tet, and then Pen. So I have the highest level 1. We did that for about a month. You guys can watch the series that we did. And then it gives you 30% combat XP. That's cool, irrelevant, but what it does is it gives you Seal of the Undying, and then what this allows you to do is exchange it for stuff you can sell or use. I personally always just choose the Cron Stones because I always need Cron Stones as an endgame player, and I think you probably will too. I personally think that's the most important one, Cron Stones. Everything else you can just get otherwise easier, but yeah, Cron Stones is what I pick. And then you get, depending on the difficulty, if you do it at like Duo to Tet, the Pen one you can get the most, but it's kind of annoying to do unless you know it. So I always stick to Tet, and then I get roughly around like between 70 to like 100 Cron Stones every day just by doing this. It takes me about like 15 minutes, and maybe even less, I don't know, 15 minutes to get 100 Cron Stones. That's about like 300 mil if I'm lucky, or like 200 if I'm unlucky. So that's always nice. It's not silver value, but it's usable value. And then next thing we do every day is farming. So as you guys know, farming is used for a lot of different things, whether you're a life skiller and do a lot of gathering and alchemy, or you're trying to go for your tier 9, tier 10 horse, something like that. What you would do is you get that, and then you get the blush leaves, right? And then you turn this byproduct into, I guess, what you need, whether it's Stonetail fodder or a contribution. So I'll just show you what I do right now. So I collect the leaves, and then because I already have like a tier 10 horse, I don't particularly need tier 9 materials. So I take these and then I turn it into contribution points and farming XP. So honestly, after Master 1, farming is kind of irrelevant. Like, yeah, sure, you can get more out of it, but after Master 1, you can get the old moon fences, and that's it. Or you can just buy it with pearls nowadays, which is something they added recently. And then you go to the exchange person, and then you could get the thing. I personally just do this, and then yep, turn it in, more contribution points. And then that's how you also get more contribution for your Imperial deliveries. Do you see how they're connected? It's awesome, right? So aside from that, that's about like maybe, I would say maybe 30 minutes, like all those 3 activities, 30 minutes. And then we made probably like, I guess 500 mil in value. And after that, we do gathering. So every day, if you leave your game on, whether you're actually playing or you're AFK doing something, in theory, you should probably fill out your energy like pool at least once a day. So you do gathering, and if you are more of a life skiller than a grinder, just use Agris while you're gathering, and then I think that's actually a lot better. Depending on where you're at, I think either meats or bloods are the best things to gather for profit. Now, what I make is different from what everyone else makes because I actually use it. But if you're just trying to sell materials on the market, I'm pretty sure saps and meats are the way to go. And then, so yeah, once a day, I actually just dump all the stuff I have. I actually recently made it to Guru 27 gathering. And that's just a time commitment. It's not hard. You just go chop trees or whatever and do whatever. But man, Guru 27, actually almost Guru 39 processing. Wild. So gathering, whether you use Agris or not, it's a couple 100 mil in like an hour. Ever since they added the green thumb thing, so like this mini game that you could turn on and off, you do the Land of the Morning Light quest line. And I think it's a side quest along with it. So usually to dump my energy from max to empty usually would have taken like an hour and 15 hour and 30 minutes. With the green thumb minigame, it cuts it down to like 40-45 minutes a day, so that's a nice time saver for roughly the same amount of profit. And so yeah, so those 4 activities, if you do it every day, so far we're at maybe like 1 billion silver, maybe a little bit less depending on where you're at. Obviously a lot of it is dependent on how well your mastery and stuff is. And then what I do obviously is going to differ from grinding spots. Recently, I've actually been going for 2 things. One, we have been going hard at City of the Dead because we're trying to go for telescope pieces, and we got our first one from a straight drop, and it was the same one that we already had. So about like 800,000 trash loot. I'm not usually the kind of person that keeps track of trash loots, but I just wanted to see how much I can get from going for a telescope. And yeah, that's almost about 30 billion silver just from grinding over the past few months. And then you do get some Essence of Devourings, which is always nice. But yeah, almost at 1 million trash loot there. That's, I don't know, I think I have over 100 hours grinded there, which actually kind of sounds like a lot when you think of it, but yeah, that, and we recently grinded Dark Seekers because we got the artifacts and we got the Ator shoes. So yeah, another thing, a small goal that we made was yeah, over 740 gear score. Not that I really care. We got 2 artifacts, plus we got a third one that I collected 100 pity pieces for. So in total, I want 4 of these artifacts that are like 10 billion. One for PvP, one for PvE. And we got a PvE setup going with Vicious Shadows. I'm going to change that later. I'll make another video on my lightstones and artifacts another time. But anyway, where I grind is probably about like, I guess on average about 1 bill an hour. Maybe more, maybe less. Depends. So yeah, that's about like 2 billion silver. Obviously, a lot of it was from grinding, but like the other gathering and farming, Pit of Undying, Imperial Delivery, you could do that in like an hour. And you guys literally just saw how much profit I made, like 150 mil in 5 minutes for Imperial Delivery. So another thing I do, and I've actually been planning on making some videos on in the future, was sailing. They recently added the Marietta boss, the Siren boss. And we enhanced our Tet Monos sailing log, which gives you more speed and everything. This is a new item that came out with the Siren boss. And I actually just got really lucky. I put an order on one, and then I got it at base, and then we enhanced it. You guys can watch that video as well. Got to get this to Tet as well as my cooking clothes. Enhancing Monos clothes is actually just a huge pain and a huge money sink. So if you're planning on doing this, I'd recommend just putting an order or buying it at Tet or Pen, and then going from there. So yeah, 2024, we're going to try sailing again and just making some videos on that, but we're just preparing in the meantime, getting the stuff ready. Next thing I do very casually is hunting, because hunting is, I don't know if it's more profitable or equal to gathering. It's basically gathering, but with extra steps. It is very profitable. So I have my hunting character down in the Narcion area, which if you don't know where that is, it is down here. And the reason why we do this is actually the best spot. And I do have a video. I'll try to leave it in the description if you want to watch it from beginner 1 all the way to master or guru. You actually can stay here from beginner 1 all the way to like guru 50 if you wanted to. So I do hunting, mostly for materials that I use to life skill. And so that's a few hundred mil an hour. I guess you kind of just keep going until you run out of energy. So yeah, that's a good chunk of silver as well if you want to do it. One other thing I haven't talked about in other videos is I do actually do the Land in the Morning Light bosses every week. And the reason why I do them is because I just want to, like, you can get the rewards out of this. And in the off chance I do randomly get like a Deboreka or, you know, something actually valuable, that's a bit of profit. Personally, I do Calamity 5 and 6s. I do it on a season character. I used to bring my main to the Morning Light every time, but figured I actually hate doing it. And so it's one of those things that was fun for the first month and then just got really repetitive. And for some classes, just straight up harder than others. So, like, I just do 5s and 6. I don't even care about my time anymore. I used to try to push leaderboards, or by leaderboards, I mean, like, the ranking, the timing. But nowadays, I just complete it every week. It takes me about, like, maybe 30 minutes. And then we get the rewards every week. Most of the weeks are pretty bad. You could get, like, I don't know. If you get lucky, a couple billion silver. But if not, you could get, like, it's about a couple 100 million silver. And so I would recommend doing those weekly. And it is some silver, even if you do it at like Calamity 1. Obviously, the higher tiers you can do, the better rewards you can get. But I would recommend just doing it, whether you do it at level 1 or 7. So yeah, I have some videos of that. You guys can watch it as well. Pretty cool stuff. And then next thing we do, this is not every day, but it's something I do regularly, is Node Wars and Red Battlefield. So for all of you who are into PvP, Red Battlefield is something you can do solo. You don't need a guild. You just go in Red Battlefield and then get your dailies. It's like Capra Stones and, well, dust to make Capra Stones daily, and then some other goodies as well, like potions and money. But it's not a lot. It's just there. So if you want to get it, it's probably like 100 mil. Something I don't actually know, but you could learn to PvP more or less, and then you get some rewards. If your guild does Node Wars, here's what you can do. Whether you win or lose in Node Wars, you get, as long as your guild meets a kill death count, you get some resplendent medals of honor, and then you could exchange those resplendent medals of honor at these NPCs. And then you can get like weapon boxes or just like random goodies for crystals and whatnot, PvP stuff. So I think whether you win or not, you get some silver along. And so that's just like whether you're good at PvP or not, it doesn't really matter as long as your guild participates and gets like some sort of kill death something. It's probably about like 100, 150 mil plus whether you win or not, you get more. So no matter how bad you are or good, you get something. Just participate. And of course, we do cooking. We talked about like our cooking mastery and crystals, everything. So this one is something interesting to talk about because cooking mastery is for Imperial delivery. At least that's how I use it. And so you get more profit when you do turn-ins. Whereas if you are looking to get levels, obviously you want cooking XP, which also gives, every time you level up, you get permanent mastery by the level. So what you would do is cook with XP, at least that's what I do, and then mastery for turn-ins. And that's how I do it. So that's why I have cooking embroidered clothes for time and XP. Then we do turn-ins with the Monos clothes. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. I wish it was all in one, so I just didn't have to swap. It would be nice, but maybe one day it would be a quality of life thing. So yeah, that's about what I do every day and my weekly activities. So roughly I make around, I don't know, 2 to 3 billion silver a day. Guess depends on how lazy I'm feeling that day, or if I just feel like life skilling or gathering, one or the other. I guess a question that a lot of you guys ask me is how much do I actually play every day? If you see me in game, there's a good chance I'm AFK fishing or just like doing something AFK activity. But I do try to actually respond to all messages. If you send me a whisper or something, that's always awesome. The best way to get in touch, if you want to actually ask me a question, is just join the Discord, which is down below. There'll be a link and everything. So just join the Discord or leave a comment in the description as well. And I'll get back to you if I can. But yeah, that's what I do on the daily. Every now and then, we do some other cool stuff. But actually, my silver has been mega tanking. If you want to see what I've been doing, this is only one on this character. These past few days, I've been slamming TED attempts and failing on my Ator shoes. This is only on one character. My other character has like another 8 fails. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Failing Ator shoes about 14 times already. Always nice. Love lighting silver on fire. Great stuff. But yeah, that's about it. So, if you have any questions on how you can improve, or if you need like gear checks on anything, join the Discord. Happy to point you guys in the right direction. And with that said, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Drop a quick like if you can as well. And I would love to see you guys come back. I've been playing this game for almost 8 years. I love sharing the knowledge I've learned over the years to help newer players, returning players, and people who are just looking to get better at this game. So, got some cool stuff coming up in the near future, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.